our microaggressions and racism in K-pop episode. Thanks for sticking around. We know it's a super fun topic. So let's jump in. So we're going to talk about something else too, because it is going to give some sort of context for where we're going to go with this episode, okay? We're going to talk about specific actual instances, talk through it, create a safe space to talk about those things. And as someone who is in these fandoms, I'm a fan. There's been a lot of back and forth and not a lot of safety given to Black voices. To be honest, I don't even know who the prominent Black voices would be. So I think that's part of the problem.
It is part of the problem. K-pop, gold pop, whatever it is, all of the different industries do not always create that space anyway. Yeah. And they do not have a lot of people who look like us as a deep part of it.
Well, but they're choreographers.
Yes.
But they're producing the music.
Right.
But they're in the bands at every concert. But they're the background dancers. But continue.
Also very new.
Yeah,
because
valid.
It's kind of like the sad part, because that means that there's been an opening up within your industry to create more diverse voices, yet they're still being stifled for what is your norm and what is your comfortability. You like certain pieces of what has become staples of K-pop.
Yeah.
Most people do. I'm not gonna say you're in line, like I don't like a lot of them too. I just think that the problem is there's not an understanding as to what those are and why you're attracted to them. And also why some people would be unattracted to you taking them and just kind of rolling with it. It's a choice, a bad one, and it's starting to like be very clear that it is actually a bad one, because now, as opposed to before, there is more noise because of the internet, because of the time frame we live in, because of the political climate around the world, not just in America. There is a lot more noise surrounding these issues, where before they seem to not care, and they still act as if they don't care, and they probably actually don't, but they're starting to realize that you can't do that.
We're going to talk about the stereotypes. Stereotypes that are very popular within K-pop and K-dramas. I feel like the one that stands out the most to me is minstrelsy.
Yeah.
As a musical theater major, musical theater was born from minstrel shows, which were traditionally when white people, mostly in the South, dressed up in blackface and drew on big black lips to try to emulate African Americans, because we had bigger lips and we had dark skin. I mean, I'm sorry, baby, you need the fillers, we don't, but I digress. They dressed up like that and did songs or scenes that were the black people shucking and jiving and yes, massa, and that is how they saw black people. That's how they portrayed us. Then black people ended up taking on those characters without the makeup, obviously, but creating minstrel characters that eventually ended up leading to like an Uncle Tom-ish character, and it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks.
And that's obviously like definitely a very big thing here. All those like little caricature, like if you ever seen like This Is America by Francesca Bino. Speaking of things that K-pop artists really loved and didn't understand. But if you've ever seen that music video, you'll notice like he does a lot of poses and like has like the faces and all these things. Those are based off of like Jim Crow caricatures off of minstrelsy. If you ever see a picture of a cartoon with super like actual ink black skin and like weird like twisty hair with the ribbon or bow in it and the messed up teeth and the big drawn over red lips, and that's what that is. If you've ever seen a statue with it in your family's house, you should talk to that auntie.
Racist.
It's racist. Seen that.
Very popular.
Seen that at an ex's mom's house. It was crazy. Anyway,
No,
we'll talk about that later. Anyway, all of these are caricatures that are based off of the racism and oppression here, especially like during slavery, post-slavery, Jim Crow era, all that terrible ass shit that we want to constantly forget about, and we will not allow you to.
Yeah, because it didn't happen. It was really long ago. But actually, I find it interesting that within American history, within history here, like even when our history books had been printed, they printed photos of civil rights leaders and certain things in Black history in black and white so that it seemed like it happened longer ago. When in reality, Ruby Bridges, the first Black girl to go to an integrated school that wasn't just for Black kids, is the same age as my parents.
She's like still kicking it and looks great because like Black don't crack. It's kind of crazy. Still systemically a problem and loudly a problem. Like, girl, Black Lives Matter was like, what, 2 seconds ago? Still happening. It still matters. Black lives still fucking matter. I mean, if half of the idols had something to say about it, like, I think that y'all should know about not saying certain things or doing certain things. It just seems like it should go hand in hand. I'm confused. But in speaking of more stereotypes, there's also like the sapphire stereotype of Black women. That's kind of where the idea of Black women being aggressive and loud and angry came from, but also like being like sexualized vixen.
Oh my god, still me.
I'm like, not actually me. Not joking, but
we're making it funny.
We're making it fun. It's not. It's actually, it's unfortunate. The sad part is that those stereotypes of Black women and the stereotype of a Black man coming from like Mandingo stereotyping of Black men.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're Black bucks is what they're called.
I don't want to like suggest movies from the 70s.
Yeah.
But there is a movie called Mandingo from the 70s.
Yeah.
Mandingo fighting was a thing where they would like fight us, like how, if you know what dog fighting is, they would fight Black people against each other. And if I recall correctly, Mandingos it's a term of a tribe or a group of people, and they were supposed to be like the biggest Black dudes and the best at fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but that's what they would do. They would be like, oh, he's a prize Mandingo, and they would fight him against each other, which is fucked up because they're not animals. But at that time, they were property.
Perpetuated the stereotype of Black men being these big, burly, frightening, violent, aggressive creatures, not even humans. Which, again, if you've ever seen anything where people usually make a caricature of Black people being animals as well is very normalized. But those two, especially within male and female centers of like how you saw Blackness, were to help create more distance between them. But the really messed up part to me is that y'all were lusting after
I'm glad you were there because I was waiting for that. Yeah.
And you had to create this stereotype surrounding them to excuse your weird predatory obsession with them.
Yeah, because the Mandingo thing about them being big too was also that they were good breeders, which meant that for slave owners who wanted to create more people, they're strong workers and they're good at procreating because they're big. This is also deeply entrenched in American society because when we talk about how we view Asian men, and the first thing that people fucking say that is the most annoying thing is, oh, he's got a small dick. The sad part is, when I was younger, I always was like, where's the actual like perception of Blackness connecting to you having a big... Because that ain't true, sorry y'all.
It's not, no.
And the saddest part is, I have met Asian men who also think like, oh, like, you might not be used... The subtext of thinking that as a Black woman, you must be used to dating Black men who have huge dicks.
Yeah, or that I'm like some intensive, like fetishized sexual creature who like is so.
Look at the political climate. I'm not going on dates.
No,
I'm not in these streets. Like, for real.
Honestly, I'm with Korea on that 4B because what?
4B movement. Shout out.
Yo, shout out to them. Women are strong. They're trying. They're fighting the good fight. But that's kind of where we go with how these stereotypes came to be in America to explain why you see that all the time. You probably do. There's no way that you don't.
The one that they love to use, and which, to go back to the Kiss of Life thing, the one that they really thought that we were trying to emulate, I feel like using the word thug, and thinking like, because even we watched a couple of radio shows where they have, it's a talent to do a black set.
Yeah.
They got my boy RM on that at one point. They were like, talk like a Black guy on the radio.
Yeah, and it's like a party trick. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think we can say that.
With that, like, if you're gonna be doing like AAVE for dummies, all those things that you hear where people will usually try and mimic incorrectly.
Yo, my girl.
Yo, hey yo, what's up? You will hear things like that, and they will go into it with kind of the black scent. If you ever watch, not trying to plug her like that, but if you ever watch Aquafina, she has what you would call it. Yeah, she has a black scent. It's where you obviously sound like not you.
And the gag is, to go back to talking about making excuses, they're like, oh, she's from New York. Yeah, I know a lot of Asian people from New York.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk like that.
No.
There's a difference between having a New York accent and having a black accent.
The difference is usually you can turn it off as opposed to it being actually how you speak.
How you talk. Yeah.
Because if you just happen to have like there are people who have Southern accents, and so I'll be like, that's just how you sound. I got it. Understood. But a lot of the time a black scent is being put on because it sounds cool or it helps with assimilation. But again, it is mimicry of something that you don't actually understand, especially with these K-pop idols. You don't have people around you who speak like that. You don't even have people around you who look like the people that you're trying to mimic who are speaking. So it does feel very disingenuous when you do it. Please don't. I hate it.
And that's why it's so bad. I forget what girl it was, but it was on a radio show, and she was like, yeah, yo, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because she was, and especially because she was trying to do a black man, which was,
because do you know any? Also, the fact that black women have been reduced to like the reenactment of Cardi B sometimes,
like the Boo Kitty, and
which is funny because that's not even how. Cardi B has such personality. Yeah. I'm not saying she's the best fucking person out there, but like there's so much more to her than being like, oh my god, like there's so much more depth in there. But if you don't,
you just take that and go, yep, that's who you are. And I'm like, actually, she's actually a very profound person who understands politics and actually speaks up for things that matter. Anyway, all this to say, not just with the radio shows, but they also like had that cartoon character, Michael.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of the whole Jim Crow caricature thing, which is why I'm like that little argument you got where you're like, it's not the same. We don't have your culture. Okay, that's funny because if you watch that cartoon and you look at that black character they have on that cartoon,
isn't it Black Michael though?
They call him Black Michael, but his character name is just Michael, or maybe it is Black Michael. He's Black Michael, bro. Michael. I hate saying that. It felt unnatural.
It was the hands that were unnatural.
I was like, ew. It gave ill. Overdrawn lips and the like weird like street style.
Because they have like some real thing that like every rapper is still Flavor Flav for some fucking reason. I don't know what that is.
That's also part of the stereotype with blackness though.
Babe, that was like the 90s, early 2000s. We don't even do that shit anymore. Because we find as fuck, but like catch up.
Michael is the one possible, there might be more, but the one like most famous black character.
Yeah, we don't know about him and we don't want to know about him.
No, because most of them are very racially insensitive. Michael was like this cool guy in the cartoon. But it became like a regular segment on their variety shows to like do Michael. And it wouldn't just be like, oh, act like the character has some like interesting personality trait that you're acting out. It was like, no, you would talk with a black accent, AAVE, even though you weren't fluent in English and didn't know what you were saying. And then you would usually like overdraw the lips and don blackface and put on
a watermelon.
And eat a watermelon, even though I'm pretty sure he doesn't even do that in the cartoon, which tells me again that there is no awareness of something, because that trope also comes from America and the racism around. Like, you have to have some sort of education on that being a stereotype of blackness. There are certain tiny things I can sit there and be like, yeah, you probably didn't know this thing because you don't speak the language and you don't understand, you may not know the importance of Not Like Us not just being a frickin' Drake diss track. I understand that. I got it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Glad we got here.
Yeah.
So then, why is everyone doing the TikTok trend because Hobie did it and it was cool when Hobie did it? Like, it's more than a Super Bowl performance. It's more than, we hate Drake, Team Drake. Like, y'all going to concerts, not even understanding the discourse and being like, Kendrick or Drake, just because you want fucking attention? Stop.
Yeah, it's weird.
Stop.
And I think that the real sad part of that is it does feel like certain things that have cultural importance becomes a trend elsewhere. And it's a thing here too. Like, that was a trend here as well. But it was very interesting to watch the span of like the 2 weeks post Super Bowl performance where everyone was doing something connected to Kendrick, and now all of a sudden we're playing Kendrick all the time, even though only a very crop few K-pop idols were listening and playing Kendrick.
Shout out Taeyang. Shout out Taeyang from TXT.
That's your boy.
He mentioned K. Dot years ago.
As K. Dot. Kung Fu Kent.
Bitch.
No. Okay. Okay. We see you.
We see you.
We see you. And I
We
know
see
you
you,
see us.
Taeyang.
I appreciate it.
We see Taeyang.
Those are elements again of there being an understanding of something and then not doing the extra leg room. That's not even that hard to do to like maybe understand deeper.
Yeah.
Just a little deeper. We're gonna talk about the hair. Because that in itself is its own monster. When the Korean music industry started to really like take on its own legs post like imperialism, because that was crazy, they took a lot of influence from Western music in different areas, not just like the obvious like the Supremes and Motown. The reach of those like piece driven music styles and the like Woodstocky type of music styles were very, very big, so the Jimi Hendrix, etc. But really, like, when they discovered Bob Marley, it was over. Like, it was done. This rabbit hole for me, when I found out how influential, I mean, Bob Marley was influential to the entire world. We know that. But I think that it was very prevalent for many different cultures because everyone could relate to that.
Yeah.
They could relate to that struggle. Not his specific struggle, but they could relate to the struggle in general. And so there became a big boom of popularity for him and his style. This goes into a certain type of style with the hair. So they started to like really want the hair, like a lot.
Yeah. I think especially with the hair is and the depiction, but is the way where K-pop could move forward, because it does feel like they are a little stuck back in time. Yeah. So if you got a chance to watch our history of K-pop episode, you would know that Sotaeji and Boys, not the boys, Sotaeji and Boys was really like what is looked at as the first K-pop group. And they had a member, we didn't even really hit this, but who was entirely painted in black or spray tanned or whatever the fuck you want to call it. They to this day will say that they didn't spray tan him. He don't look like that anymore.
No,
so
he didn't look like that a year after. So,
and they also gave him, I don't even know if it was twists or braids or what.
Yeah, they gave him a braids, and he also had like the perm they do there to give them texture for their hair, which became real popular post the, obviously we talked about the Bob Marley thing already, but they called it reggae hair when it just has texture. It's not even just for dreads. It's literally any textured hair.
It's so funny.
Which in and of itself is incorrect. But also wrong and racist. But
reggae hair.
Reggae hair. Okay.
That's something.
Alright.
That's something.
As like the first true K-pop like act, that was kind of the trajectory that you were gonna be on going forward.
What got me was that they never painted Lee Juno's ears.
Yeah.
So like he was black, like his face and stuff, and like the hands, whatever was out of the costume. but his ears weren't. I guess they thought the hair was going to cover it enough, but it didn't. And I just want to say, if you're going to be racist, just commit all the way. Go all in. Don't half-ass it.
Commit. Do a Super Junior. Just put it all in the paint, you know? Actually really don't. I hated that so much. Hated that. Hardly an apology for that too. That's craziness. That was way later. The first gen, you had like all these new acts come in that became the pillars of what would become K-pop.
Yeah.
And that whole argument now about the whole Blackpink thing, right? So back then, and this is not like that long back then.
No.
Like early 2000s.
Yes.
Like, they had the full NIGGA in their songs.
Mm-hmm.
To a level that, honestly, could rival our own rappers.
Yeah, if you want to look up Shinhwa's Vortex,
or T.O.P.
Not T.O.P.
No, it's just
the song T.O.P.
Yes.
Just clarify.
Yeah.
T.O.P.'s cool.
He's cool.
But we do get to hit some of Big Bang.
Yeah, yes we do. But no, there's just like all in the. What was the one fucking line?
Oh, the Mr. Broke nigga?
Yes.
Which is funny because who is he? I don't know. Who do you know? What broke niggas do you know?
Also, Mr. Broke nigga.
Why is it the professional Mr. but then he's a broke nigga?
Broke nigga. And also, like, who are you?
Right, because your money is so bitch.
Okay. The only reason that was written, not by y'all, because y'all weren't writing your own song, but the only reason that was written for you was because how you saw hip hop artists like speaking and their own stuff. And I'm like, again, a simple fucking Google was open.
Google is free.
And it is free. Like it's simple. Like, come on, y'all. But then again, y'all were not having black people around you at the time. You were just having people in blackface behind you.
So what gets me is that, one, they still perform the song with the N-word.
Yes.
Two, they still perform the song with the N-word in America.
Yeah.
And three, they always have an audience who knows the song in America. So that means that there are people, people who are like, this is a jammer. I don't care that they're up there saying the N-word. It's still...
No. It's not just a mirror on these idols.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem. That's why people keep arguing with you in the comments.
Yes.
Because it's not just about the idols. It's about, one, the fact that K-pop is a highly consumed media source around children. So when they get to interact with this content and they see their favorite idol talking about, oh my God, you're so dark, that makes someone, even if you're not black, but just a darker skinned person, feel bad.
Yeah.
And for what?
Yeah.
For
I
what?
don't know, if we were going to rally so hard for the fat shaming within K-pop, which also deserves its own area of conversation, you should be rallying hard for the fact that this is also extremely insensitive and bad, not just for the black fans, they're fans of color in general. Yeah. It is a problem.
Yeah. I'm not going to act like there aren't darker skinned Asian people within the Asian diaspora. Like, be so for real.
Yes, there's Southeast Asians that, like, and not only that, like, there's other cultures who are constantly having this happen too within this, like, art form. There's there's a lot of like weird Native American appropriation too that is also extremely prevalent in America by the fucking way.
100%.
But it just feels very, very odd again because it's the normalization of the problems here have just become grander normalized issues in Korea in a way that makes me very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because part of the reason that it even has the ability to hop skip like it does is because there's an ability to do so here.
Yep.
And one thing that is true is within this current climate we have, okay, understood. Things that you did however many years ago, you don't want to come back, great. It's different if you said the N-word a bunch of times. I'm sorry, my guy. It's different than, those things are a complete example of character. And until there's a clear example of the fact that your character has grown from that, it's fair that might come up.
Yep.
Like, it's fair for me to be like, that gives me the ick, complete ick, bye. Like, especially if you don't address it correctly. Because you can just sit there and go, ooh, yeah, that's not a good look. That was terrible. Here's why it was terrible. I'm so sorry for that. I am not that person anymore. I would never do that again. And we can move on. And sure, there's going to be some people who don't let you. And that's their prerogative. Get over it. That's what happens in the age we have. We're a digital age. Get over it.
Speaking of things that ick the absolute fuck out of me. G-Dragon.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, here
I like I said, I'm not a long-time K-pop-y, but I have always had beef with G-Dragon.
Yeah.
What was it, like last week when he did that fucking
okay. So I'm a tread. Big Bang in general for me has always been an interesting spot because I have never even at the time frame when I started to get into K-pop, which was around the time of Big Bang. I never really understood the obsession with them. Certain elements of their work, sure. But the thing that always really icked me was that I did feel how appropriative many elements of their whole being. And G-Dragon especially, and I won't say that his character or image is disingenuous, but I feel like a lot of the things that he does make absolutely no freaking sense to me for the amount of global exposure that he has.
Yeah.
It's very confusing because he is labeled as king of K-pop. I'm not going to disregard that as being a label that is given to him. 100% he has been extremely influential to the actual art form there. I cannot disregard that at all, and I would not give that.
And we even talked about how there are rappers that we do like, who obviously have a lot of influence from G-Dragon. But he himself, and this is, again, pulling back from the growth that needs to happen within the industry. And it could have been with the amount of notoriety any of Big Bang has, it could have been any one of those members who decided, you know what, we're going to approach stuff differently. Now that we know better, now that we're getting this feedback, we're going to approach stuff differently. And they didn't. And that's why we're having this conversation. That's why we're here.
G-Dragon has done blackface. The hair itself is like a whole other conversation. Tang is extremely I don't know why I turned into like freaking Total Tiger. Tang is extremely notable for the fact that he loved himself a dread.
And they look bad, guys. I'm sorry. That's not
terrible.
even what our hair looks like.
They look terrible because it's not you. It's not you. Also, Tang was the one who literally made that comment that was like, I want to understand the suffering of black people. Remember that? That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Because it, again, is a clear example on the understanding of something. You know, you're aware. Part of the reason for especially hip-hop and R&B and all these other art forms in general existing comes from a level of actual systemic, cultural, historical pain that has been driven into creating something beautiful and timeless and that people want to emulate consistently because it's amazing. I get it. The problem is you said the loud part hella loud, my guy, when you said that you wanted to understand the suffering of black people because it would make you a better artist.
Yeah, and it probably would.
It would. But I'm like, but the crazy part is
but
you do understand that in your own cultural way. And it does shine through with a lot of what you guys do. I the part that really irks me is that there is so much power and beauty in the histories of your own nation.
Yeah.
And yes, you can take Western influence and do that. And I have no problem with there being Western influence. That's I get it. The blueprint, sometimes it happens, especially when you guys are making the type of music that you are and the music that you are interested in, because I do not disregard that you guys are interested in that music style. Whatever you have is pushed aside to don the look and vibe of something that you just see as cool and don't see as what it truly is, as well as just being cool and awesome and amazing, which is someone's history, someone's culture, someone's life, someone's life force.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So yeah, that whole thing, crazy.
Yeah, so having afro wigs, having braids, saying the N-word, being in blackface, all of that. I can't give you anything. No. Sorry.
You are doing a minstrel show of what you think Black culture is.
You're emulating a minstrel show, which is crazy.
Which is crazy. Just the variety shows. These are different staples within the Korean entertainment industry. Like, y'all doing that. Y'all doing the Michael segments all the time. Y'all doing the blackface segments all the time. You have a idol show code switch in general, which is like weird.
Hypothetically, who do you think did do the best black set?
You don't want to hear my answer.
I do.
Okay.
It was none of the girls.
No.
Oh my god.
All right. Here we go.
No one. I feel like it's who listens to the most black people.
It's who listens to the most black people.
Actually, black people.
And the reality is, like, it's still bad because no one's saving this episode. I love my boys. I love BTS down. The best person to do it, by the way, I'll answer your question, is RM. And here's why. Here's why. Because it was still bad. And they had to do it a lot, by the way. Like, a lot. Still was extremely insensitive and not correct. Getting into the histories of cultural appropriation and different things within BTS especially is like a whole loaded like area, because their whole makeup as a group was Bang PD creating this hip hop group. Mm-hmm. He had worked with like a lot of the bigger companies, and they had wanted to create a group solely based off of just hip hop culture and black music, which has been quoted, by the way. And so that was the whole reason that you even created that group. So how they came out the gate was with like the chains and the fake Versace and the braids and the RM hair, which, like, baby, why? I know that, and he talks about it with so much like ire now. I know that man is pressed because of that not good press. It was not giving. And they all have had their own share of issues with that. Different things that have been hit upon, whether it be like the colorism, like with phrases that are said amongst different members, the fact they did the Shinhwa cover with the N-word, the fact they, like, it's not great.
But I would prefer, like you said, the fact that he definitely seems pressed and like aware that he's like, oh fuck, I hate this video. Like, I prefer that to music video in Thailand with the braids.
Oh, that was Lisa. Yeah.
Duh. Lisa in Thailand with the braids, because in Thailand there is like a popular tourist street where it's a thing to go and get your hair braided in, what's it called? Reggae
hair. Yeah.
See, I can't even say that shit because it's so fucking stupid.
So dumb.
In reggae hairstyle. And so they have these Thai women doing box braids. And
not well. I'm so sorry to call you out, but like, ooh.
And that's the tea. And then people were like, it's a traditional Thai hairstyle. It's actually not. We did a lot of research. Yeah. The only traditional braided, like multiple sets of braids hairstyle that we could find was in Tibet.
Yeah.
And they have like micro
They're micro
and
rings.
long. I'm like, them fingers was working, baby, because that was and that was different.
And even with those, there was a pushback by even government for
them to keep their hair.
Those braids,
Yeah,
because they were an ethnic group that was seen as lesser than.
Yeah, and they weren't assimilating. They weren't looking like
the rest of them. And so now they kind of taken back their power, and they wear those styles for like special events a lot of times, especially weddings, things of that nature. I think they're gorgeous. But that's also what I mean. There's histories already to draw from. Yeah. How you take from like Indian culture a lot, for a lot of these concepts, or like Native American, all of these things. I'm not disregarding that. I'm just saying that as a Black person, to watch the amount of things that are accepted because that's the vibe of K-pop,
and being gaslit by other non-Black fans that it's fine. That's the part that gets me the most.
It's not. Okay. BTS has had their own things. The one thing that I will say about that, and especially with RM, especially, I get real tired of the whole but RM argument. If you're going to do that, this is not the place for you. There's a level of accountability that needs to be set for people. And the one thing about BTS, as they have grown with global influence, is that they have put their words into action and put their money where their mouth is when it comes to things like that.
Literally.
Very much so. Yeah. Like, by the actions that they have set, the things that they have chosen to do, the people they have surrounding them. I am very, very proud of the accountability that they constantly will face.
Yeah.
And how, especially their own fandom, and not all, we're not going to sit here and say that everyone is on the same page, but how the fandom holds them to account with those things as well.
And there's always room for improvement.
Yes,
there can always be more.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that really made me see them as different was when they donated a lot of money to the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yes.
Because there's not many artists, and I'm talking Black artists,
yeah,
before it was trending. There are not even many Black artists here who were doing that.
No.
So I do feel like that was worth mentioning.
Yes.
For sure.
And it sucks because, like, unfortunately that money did not go where it needed to, but that's like a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But my point being is that they put stuff into actual work.
Yeah.
And then what happened from it was a domino effect where their fandom did the same thing.
Yeah, and matched their donation.
And matched it.
Yeah.
And then even like choosing to do things like standing on a ledge to like help with issues that aren't within your own country, and speaking even at the White House about like Asian hate in general. Things of that nature tells me that, okay, you know what.
That's something different than saying you gon' finna catch me.
Yeah, it's different. Now you still are going to like, you guys definitely like profit off of Black culture 100%, just like all the other groups do. But it definitely gives that there is a bit more care and genuineness underneath it. J-Hope and the Grills currently, right? And like how a lot of people were like, oh, whatever. But the one thing that really surprised me by that was that there was not any negative response to it because of the way he did it. How he was wearing them. Yeah, because there's an issue with that in K-pop in general about them wearing grills.
Absolutely.
Overall. But there's been a new shift in that, which also is to tell the fact that there's an awareness, by the way, because once upon a time they would have a full row of grills. Mm-hmm. And now there is time and energy and care put into like, okay, these are Black artists who are creating these things for you, and you guys are like doing there's an openness there.
I thought you were going to talk about the fact that J-Hope, like during April and all of this happening at the concert, when J-Hope, like we said, the whole month of April, K-pop artists were crashing out, and Hobie, every concert kind of goes into the audience in the front and has a little bit with a member of ARMY. And one of the nights that like all of this had really been just dominoing, he just went right up to this beautiful Black woman with like the best hair.
I love her.
And don't know her, love her. And just hugged her, and it just because it makes sense as a Black person to be like, yeah, I like K-pop, but I'm not paying money to go to a K-pop artist concert right now with all that happening. Like, I get it. So the fact that he embraced her, but the backlash after on social media of people being like, I don't know why everybody cares. It's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. Because when do we see other K-pop artists in non-sexual ways embracing Black women in their videos around them? I'm looking at you, Jay Park. Yeah. Like, when do we see that?
Speaking of like audience reaction, like a great example of that is like the weird connotation behind like when I say that I'm a K-pop fan, someone immediately goes, "Oh, so you're a Minky bias or an RM bias?" And I go, "Well, why do you think that?" Now, I ain't gonna lie, it's true. Shh. But like, I mean, I'm OD7, but still, moving on. I was like, but why do you think that? And it's because of, again, this like weird connection with them, which is a problem that people have with towards those idols especially, but like with Black women and seeing them as overly sexual and overly voluptuous. But
I think it also goes back to that Mandingo thing of like, well, you wouldn't like a smaller idol. Yeah. Like, you want a big guy because you want a big man. Like,
yeah, you like the tall ones. And I go, okay, like, that's weird. Or, like, the more, like, aggressive idol.
What?
Which is weird.
Baby, give me your song.
But also at the same time as y'all are saying that, the response to that one send-off clip of Mingy when he met those Black girls and he, like, talked to them for a minute and gave them attention, and the way that, like, a large sector of the fandom got so pressed and got super racist.
He doesn't like them. He would never like them. They're not pretty. Like,
I said, this is very, and I said, and it's just, or the fact that like there used to be like these days specifically for like creating selfie days. Selfies are like selfies for in South Korea, and selfie days for Black fans of different K-pop group fandoms, and they would get like told that they were ugly or that they looked like monkeys or whatever, and I'm just like, I can understand why it feels so isolating as a fan. And then on the flip side of that being what's happening within the people who also love this artist, you're looking at the artists and they are also doing things that make you feel like you are isolated. So I get it, and going into like, there's so much to go off of. Like, all the big groups have had issues, okay? No one is safe. Like, GOT7, y'all had your issues. Jackson Wang, what the hell was that? Like, I love
they're haters.
Yeah.
Babe.
Yeah. Like,
Jackson Wang from China. Baby.
Like, what? Like, the amount of people who have said the N-word and like can't walk it back. Like, whether you're in Stray Kids, Bangchan with the braids as well, you ain't say like twice.
No, what fucked me up? We're gonna talk about Bangchan. Okay. Bangchan with the braids. There's a video on YouTube of Bangchan being asked by a fan, a non-Black fan, hey, like, what's with the hair? Like, are you gonna take it out? Like, some people are really offended. And he was like, yeah, well, you know, people are gonna be offended no matter what you do. That's just the industry.
Yeah, and like, it was very much like, oh, I like it. And I go, okay.
Christopher, you're from Australia.
The crazy part is that you never did it again, which tells me that you knew.
And you also never apologized.
You never apologized for it. But like, and it feels like annoying.
You don't. And you're the leader of the group. I'm sorry.
It's like, it's weird. Sorry. No, it's fair. It's fair. Like, Itzy's done it too with the freaking cornrows, the ponytails, exit. Like, oh, we're not even gonna get into Mama Moo because that's a whole.
Yeah. The Bruno Mars cover.
But
they did in blackface, which was crazy because Bruno Mars isn't even Black,
his
bro.
People were, and you were like, that's so messed up. Like, it's so weird. I promise you, I mean, I put money on the idea that if I were to ask someone in South Korea, an idol, if Bruno Mars is Black, they would tell me that he probably is.
They think that's hilarious. Honestly, I'm sure there's some Black people who think he's Black.
Oh, 100%.
I get it. I get why there's confusion, bro. Mm-hmm. But he's not.
He's not.
And Ariana Grande is not Hispanic, guys.
No.
Gotta do our research, okay?
That AT situation from like a couple years ago with Thanks.
Yeah.
Hongjoong in those photos had his hair dyed blue, but he had cornrows in. and immediately 18s were like, ooh, no, like, that's not it. And KQ released a statement about it and made it clear, like, oh, the promotional photos in the music video have been shot. They apologized in the way that a company does, where it could have definitely been a bit more, like, direct. Yeah. And then still proceeded to later on still have, like, different appropriative things within the group, again, that are too heavily normalized within the entire industry, whether it be the whole row of grills, whatever it may be, all this stuff. I will say for Ice on My Teeth, they did not wear grills, which is actually very confusing given the fact that the entire song is about grills. It is what it is.
Where was the eyes?
Yeah. Black 18 independence and, like, all these different things, because of the fact that they felt extremely isolated within the fandom itself after all of those issues. And I will say Hongjoong is a good example of having a certain level of accountability with that one situation. It was a little bit later, we're not gonna lie.
I mean, and given how young he was,
yes,
to even be like, okay, I'm gonna try to say something,
I'm gonna try,
you know.
Yeah, and that's not a norm. If we're being so for real, there are multiple instances where they were at fan meets, whatever, that people talked directly to these idols about these issues, and they were either cut off or not able, or didn't speak on it, whatever it may be, or they doubled down and defended themselves. It's pretty regular for that to happen. So again, take with that as you will. I take from it something very clearly from them. But Hongjoong at least acknowledged the level of inappropriateness that it was and needing to understand different cultures, and blatantly said so, which was very, very nice to hear. And since then has not really had many other iterations of him kind of delving too deeply into a skewed area of all this stuff. Now, again, K-pop itself as an industry has a lot of issues, so unfortunately, there's still issues like that pop up, whether it be with AT, Stray Kids, New Jeans, whomever you like. It's just the reality. So it's just holding them to account. So we do have to talk about KQ really quickly because they used to be a different company. And back then, I think they were called the Seven Seasons. Yeah. And they were the company that was in charge of Block B. If you don't know who Block B is, there is the model performance where Suga, yes, he did have the braids, but there's a very popular model performance where BTS did a, like, versus Block B. Yeah. That's, like, really popular. Yeah. It's super awesome. Do check it out. It is amazing. Block B was a group that was also based off of a hip hop concept, that came around the same time as BTS. Yeah. Also had similar issues when it comes to the appropriative hair and a lot of other things. Now, the main real problem with them, again, a lot of the groups at the time did the same thing. It doesn't absolve it. It just is an explanation of the fact that everyone was doing it real bad, and it was a problem for everybody. But Block B was, like, saying the N-word like it was, like,
just another day.
Just another day. Like, let's talk about this. Also, nigga. And then also, like, Zico himself, which, like, I never really liked Zico. I'm just giving a deep disclaimer right now. If you like Zico, sorry, boo-boo. I don't like self-proclaimed culture vultures. It's not my vibes. I don't like when someone doubles down on the idea that they get to do whatever they want because of the fact that they are a rapper. It is not enough for me. Also, there's a definition of rapper that is, subjective. Yeah. But I just feel like Block B as a group, and part of the reason that they didn't continue their popularity ascent is because people did finally wake up to the fact that it was real bad.
I mean, he said the F word.
Yeah.
He said, and not the one I said. He said the N word. With the agencies, and only using KQ as an example with that, like when they rebranded and became a new company, and the situation with Hongjoong did happen,
for reference, that also was during the time of the Black Lives Matter movement, like really having a peak within the like 2020s. So like there was an awareness, especially then. If you want to have this conversation about like 2015 and backwards, go talk to your mom about it. That's cute. Once it was past a certain time, it gets stale. The conversation grows stale for me. He's a major troll, but Jay Park for me is also like one of those examples of being a little stale.
Yeah, great. Jumping in here. Jay Park of Seattle.
Formerly of 2 p.m.
Formerly of 2 p.m. And I gotta give him some credit before I shit on him. Because he did do some talking about why he left the K-pop industry, about why 2 p.m., even though he loved his members, and like why that kind of just didn't work for him. And I will say, if you go back and watch 2 p.m. videos that he's in, he is a standout.
No, yeah.
He is absolutely a standout. He is absolutely talented. Nothing that I'm going to say about Jay Park talks about his talent. He's fucking talented. Yeah. And that's why it pisses me the fuck off when he's doing the most appropriative bullshit that as an American, you know, is appropriative bullshit, and trying to sell it to these Korean people and tell them, this is cool, this isn't a big deal, this isn't a problem. Like, bitch, I do feel bad for these people. Because at the end of the day, I know in my heart of hearts, in my soul, that you've come up to black people with that energy, yo, yeah. And they were just like, but the vibes are fucking off, Buki. Like, using black women in your music videos and then having them twerk and just, oh yeah, we're just filming a music video, and probably not even telling them that you're gonna edit videos of AI fucking fried chicken in the background. I don't like, where's the last brain cell? Like, where is it? Why do we have gummy bears twerking? Why are you always trying to impregnate the ground? Stop humping the floor, bitch. Just sing the song. Like, there's so many things where, like, if you are confident in the fact that you have talent, you could just rely on that and not have to do all this extra bullshit. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like you're just pulling for attention. Guess what? Eyes are on you, babe, and it's still not giving. So now what? Anyway.
Period.
No,
it's fair. Like, Jay Park is a master troll.
Yeah.
I think that the danger of doing that, I am speaking on any version of pop culture today. The problem with it is that even though there's an awareness of it from people who consume you, it normalizes certain aspects of behavior. Which again continues on the cycle of said behavior. Unfortunately, because you choose to do certain things and a certain way without any actual follow through or respect for the original art forms itself, people start to do the same thing as you. And yes, you have helped to usher in a whole group of people who emulate you and who love you musically.
Very notable artist.
Very notable. And he's actually extremely talented.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
And that's the problem. Like, and the problem that people make excuses, I feel like, in the same way that we talked about Chris Brown. People make excuses because he's fucking hot.
I also find that with even the fans of girl groups too, and the way that they'll apologize for them, like they're not grown women now. Like, I'm like, I guess
this is an adult person.
Like, at this point, they are adults. Like, certain other people in K-pop, children. We know the whole point of as to why they create the industry itself is that they literally take these children and like throw them into the ring and just go, here's what you can do, here's what you can't do, go have fun, and they just gotta roll with it. But at a point, there's a level of autonomy that is gained. You have an understanding of self. You have an understanding of how the world works. You do know how the world works. You are aware. You see people's comments. You see what's going on in the world. You see all these things. And that's why people have a lot of frustration with y'all when you discredit them or disregard them, whatever it may be. That's your fucking journey.
Yeah.
And how you deal with it as a fan is also your journey. Do with it as you will. I'm not going to tell you to sit here and stand this person and don't stand this person. I don't believe in that shit. All I can say is like, good. Oh no, 100%. Because the reality is that it's your prerogative. You have full free reign and free right to do whatever the hell you want to do. Go have
But
fun.
I'm gonna look at you sideways.
Oh, 100%. But I'm also, it's the same way that I would look at someone sideways if they sit there and go, oh, Post Malone's my favorite rapper. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it just means I'm not going to go to a fucking concert with you or give you the aux cord.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't need to fuck. We ain't going past that. It's fine if you like them. Go have fun. Dude's a country artist now, which was so easy. What? But
yeah, but he's cool, not Beyonce.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly. But you're allowed to do what you want with what you want. What you cannot do is sit there and get mad at people because they have complete right behind their feelings towards certain people. I am going to sit there and be like, full disclosure, have I listened to Monet in the last 10 days? Yeah. Do I like J. Brown like that? No.
That is so funny.
It's a twerking song.
Hey, dear.
What?
No, you gotta fast.
Okay, now here's one thing I will give that man. He is hilarious. He's hilarious.
I can't.
It's funny until he did the I'm going on tour thing. He's gonna have a concert. That shit pissed me the fuck off. I hate it. I hate it. I do.
It's funny because you always try to be nice.
I hate it. No, I really do. The way that they can breeze by certain situations being normalized is also what really scares me for that new generation of people.
Yeah.
Because I get the argument, bear with me, I get the argument of the fact that a lot of the things, because you have space where you are giving yourself to people and you are at their beck and call a lot, you having eyes on you consistently and being set to a standard that feels unattainable. The thing that isn't is the bare minimum. And I don't understand why the actual bare minimum is seen as 17,000 degrees higher. It's not. You're not being held to a standard that's unattainable. It is just as simple as you recognizing something, acknowledging it, and going forward with it. And if you go forward with it with good intentions, you will not hear us say a goddamn word.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't, you're not going to get black people just coming out the works, being victims of whatever. Nope. No, bitch, we aren't victims. We are survivors, consistently survivors who literally inspire you to do more and you want to have that survival story. Congratulations. It's cute that you love it. The reality is, it's our true reality. You will never have it. Yeah. I want people I really root for and see so much potential for, which is part of the reason that we're having the conversations. All these people have grand amounts of potential. They have the carpet laid out for them. They have the world as their stage now. It used to be mainly just South Korea. It is now the world. Yeah. And you are normalizing this idea that being not on the right side of cultural ideologies is fine for everyone, and that's not it at all. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what company has control over you and tells you to turn off a live. I don't really care. You have enough autonomy to say what you want to say and deal with the consequences as they come. If you don't feel the need to deal with the consequences of us calling you out for a do-rag, then you can deal with the freaking consequences of the fact that you can go, hey, yeah, no, actually, I think that that's really messed up, and I feel sorry about that, and I don't want to do it anymore, and I feel like I'm above it, and I will take that. I will take it,
Yeah.
And appreciate you more and respect you a little bit more for it.
I think part of the problem with a lot of this stuff is that it is built into the culture. It's built into American culture. Mm-hmm. It's built into culture everywhere. So it seems almost like, oh, you're coming at my culture by critiquing these things. Like, it seems like you're coming at me, but we're not, because this is also our thing. And as people who live here and are Black and deal with this and grew up dealing with this, these are changes that we can make as humanity to become better. Yes. And even in the K-dramas, where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go help. It's not even like starving kids in Africa. No. It's just like, he has to go to Africa.
And it's usually as a punishment.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go to Africa.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, where in Africa? Because it's a continent.
Just Africa.
Sometimes the characterizations of certain, like, characters, too, because in that, like, the Penthouse show, there's that character.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
With who had the Black henchman, which is also another conversation. Really quickly, going back to the Mandingo thing, the use in K-dramas of Black people and Black art, so
as criminals,
and they usually are either criminals or henchmen. They are never another type of side character, which is what you will get from any white actor, by the way.
Because the white people are doctors,
lawyers,
they're heads of the company,
CEO.
They're visiting. We're doing business with the CEO from this other company. We're gonna partner. Give me a fucking break.
You don't see a Black face. You don't see a Hispanic face.
Rarely even an Asian American face.
Yes.
And it's really like, that's how you know our business is growing really well, because it's a white person. Like, why is that your standard? Why is it your standard?
The Eurocentric standard itself is very, very sad to me.
Yeah.
Because it's the truth, not just in the K-dramas, but in, like, music videos and things like that. It just feels, again, like the world is again turning its face on anything that is not white forward, even in the world of K-pop, which is not white forward. It's not crazy. Even targeted to white people. It doesn't even utilize the music styles of white people. It's very, white supremacy is so far-reaching.
Yeah, it's entrenched.
It's entrenched in every society. So when you want to make a comment about how, like, K-pop isn't political or that these things are not important, you're full of shit. Yes, it is. Like, you can sit there and believe what you want to believe. I will sit there and judge you as I need to. I will die on this hill. You will start caring about how political your shit is when your people have to keep going to the military, or when your people have to no longer get visas to come perform for you, or when you go to another freaking event and see another freaking music video with someone and they do not look like you. It's not saying that you want them to always do that. It's more so just an acknowledgement of the fact that there's an existence of people that aren't just there to help prop you up. That is it.
Yeah, I think Itaewon Class was probably the only drama I saw that had a Black character who was fully realized.
Yeah.
The only one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it!
And that was nice. That was nice to watch.
That's it. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
I don't remember the actor's name, but he did a great job.
Yeah.
I was very grateful for. I would love to know what his experience was like filming that.
That plot within itself speaks on an awareness again within the culture. So I need us, and I'm saying us. I'm putting us all lumped together. I need us as the fandom, right? Fandom, hi fandom. I need us to really take a deep, strong look at what you find forgivable. What you find forgivable is not for the people who actually are having the pain pushed upon them. Mm-hmm. And not only that, the way that you will forgive away certain things under the guise of they know not what they do or whatever it is. It does them a disservice. It does you a disservice. And it doesn't help to prop up this industry, this music style that you love so much. It doesn't help at all. I think one of the biggest problems within the Korean entertainment industry is their lack of actual care for fans of different cultures.
Yeah.
In general, especially international fans. We've seen the backlash from that with even the Rise situation, whatever. Maybe this is completely aside from the topic at hand, but there's a disregard for understanding those cultures and taking it into account. Even though I think that the funny part is that you do understand, you just don't care.
Right.
And that's how it feels consistently. And this month especially felt that way, which is why it really tugged at the heart of so many people.
Yeah.
But there are ways to try and dismantle this idea and do better. And there are people who are trying to do that. And I think that's beautiful. There are groups that have implemented more people of color in general, especially Black people. But it needs to definitely have a change and a shift.
In order to leave this episode on a lighter note,
yes,
we want to talk about how to improve. Because we don't want to just tell you issues and not give you a way to fix it. And I think even among ourselves, you know, when you're on social media, you're creating your own algorithm brick by brick, and you are choosing what you let in to your brain, to your body, all those sorts of things. So here we're going to talk about how to basically dismantle internalized Eurocentrism, because that's kind of the key behind every topic that we hit today, and realizing that there's more than just the love yourself element of it. And being a better, more well-rounded person. So I want to give shout out to Dr. Nada on TikTok, because a lot of these points did come from a post that was created by them, and it just gave us a lot to think on and a lot to talk about, and it was a great conversation starter for us to even begin working on this episode. So one of the first things that we can talk about is just rejecting colorism. This means when you see your favorite idol in a photo that is super edited, when you see Songa and he is like a cup of milk, you watch the fan cams of the concerts, that's not his actual color, that's not his actual hue, and just remind yourself, he looks good when they don't edit him, but that's fine. Even in the Isabel Marant, the campaign, beautiful, melanin, bitch, yes, that, give us that. We don't want the edited versions of our idols. We want our idols.
To help also combat this idea of, again, centralizing European-based, white-based normalcy is kind of also stopping the constant, equating of English proficiency with being, intelligent. Just because you speak English does not mean that you are automatically smarter or that you are automatically more prone to success. It is not how that works.
And I think anyone who lives here knows that.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of not smart Americans. Okay? I'm just saying, that's not, or even, I will say the opposite of equating being Asian with being smart.
Yeah.
Because that's a stereotype here, too.
It is.
People are just people. Some people are, and smart is subjective. Some people are really good at school. Things, Some people have street smart. Just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
And the same thing with, also don't equate being Black with being dumb either, because that's weird.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Black women are the most educated people in this country. Anyway. And also challenge those Western beauty standards out the ass, please, because, South Asian and Black features are gorgeous.
You don't need the plastic surgery. If it makes you feel comfortable, it's a choice that you want to make. That's fine. But you don't need it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone really does. If it's necessary for reconstructive surgery or helping with deviated symptoms, whatever it may be, go ahead, do what you want to do. Even if you want to do it for yourself, go ahead. It's your prerogative. It's your body. It's your life. Do what you want. I just think that it would be nice to not always broadcast it as something that is so necessary.
Now you look so much better.
To change yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's usually changing yourself to fit a certain beauty standard that is more European leaning in nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except a BBL.
Reading and associating more with decolonized history. I think that's a really good point. Reclaiming your history and your culture in general is really important. And it's interesting because anytime I see K-pop groups like TXT has their Sugar Rush ride that they do on tour, that is definitely like more traditional, and they're in Hanbok, and it's cool when Suga did Hagum, and he used a Hagum.
Yes,
you know,
and like you learn about it.
There's so many times when artists, when artists are using and pulling from their own culture, and it always hits so much more than stealing someone else's.
Yeah, and especially like the melding. Always feels very nice. It feels more genuine than I don't.
Because you know that's yours.
I like putting like Hanbok with street style. I always kind of vibe with, because I'm like, oh, it's the merging of these two things, and it just feels again so authentic and real, and it speaks on the beauty of that culture, especially
knowing your own culture. So if you speak another language, trying to interact more with that language, or even if you don't have family members around who do, okay, maybe go to a cultural festival in your local area and try to say, okay, like, I want to learn more about me. Because in a way, learning about your culture, it does do that. Read history written by people from your culture. You know, if there are traditional songs, or, I mean, the majority of African American history is all passed down verbally. So if there are hand games, music, sayings, anything that you can grab onto that is yours, you can have that and take that with you and go into the world with more of a, I know who I am. This is me. This is me. And some of those cultural things you may not lock onto. And that's okay too. That's okay too. But just to know, so that if you tell someone, oh yeah, I'm this, they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. I can feel comfortable with you. We have a community. That's how we create community. And in a digital age, that is something we need.
When we're talking about us as fans, definitely have to do that all the time and work hard for it. And with these idols, I think that this all needs to be implemented within their trainee system. They should stop training children. But I think that all of these elements are things that should be taught along with skill set, because I think it would create a stronger sense of self and also combat the obvious cultural insensitivities in general within themselves as well as with other cultures. I think that a lot of being anti-racist in general globally needs to be directly taught, and it is being literally stifled within our own country as we speak.
Absolutely.
So yes, believe me, we understand Westernizing, like the mindset when it comes to like success. Most K-pop driven art forms in general, a lot of it is the pursuit of money. It's talked about a lot. And one thing I really appreciate is a lot of those artists and idols have spoken out plainly about how that pursuit is very stifling for them. And causes a bit of a breakdown of self and worth. And that within itself is also very Eurocentric in nature. It's something that we deal with as well as Black people on American soil. It's very much the truth. The pursuit of money is kind of a far-reaching example of what true success is. You're literally working yourself to death for the pursuit of what is seen as a certain level of success. in one view. And that's in multiple cultures, it's like that. In multiple nations, it's like that. In multiple continents, it's like that. It's not just centralized to one place, but it is not the way to go, and it is definitely part of the reason that a lot of these idols have issues. And I think that it could change their perception of their own culture, and again, other cultures, to create a bit more of connectivity there.
A way to also continue to work on things like that and to build community is to support local representations of your culture.
Yeah.
Right? So if there is if there's a West African grocery store near me, I'ma pop up. If there's somebody who is selling like handmade traditional clothing or something, like whatever you're interested in, whatever you align with, buy it from them. Don't buy it from Shein. Don't buy it from fucking Amazon. Buy it from them. Support your community and work with your community. Break free of respectability politics, which I think as Black people in K-pop, I will see some fans who are like, oh, they're being racist. I'm just look over here. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to voice your opinion. That's okay. It's okay to not be liked.
Yeah.
That's okay. I do it all the time. It's okay. That's fine. They also said to embrace religious freedom. So whatever your religion is, whatever your family practices. And I remember like in college and stuff, they would kind of hide the Muslim students when it was time to go pray, like in a broom closet. Nah, baby. I mean, if that's where the sun's facing, if that's what you need, okay. But pop that shit out right here. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm not actively with you, but like, don't be afraid to be yourself. And I'm saying this specifically to younger people. Oh, this is not cool. People are going to judge me. People are going to think this is weird. Fuck that. Fuck that. Be yourself. If that makes you feel beautiful, if that makes you feel confident, if that makes you feel closer to God or whatever you believe in, do that. Do that.
Something that I have heard said by, which I think is also part of where the problem arises, with like the Western born K-pop idols, is that all of them seem to have the same convo piece about how they felt ashamed of their culture. Yeah. And then through this venture into becoming an idol or an actor, whatever it may be, they found a connection and a link and pride within their culture. But the thing that got lost in the translation there was what you do with respectability to others in the process.
I mean, that, and I think the coping mechanism of centering whiteness, right? Yes. Because that's how you survive in those predominantly Caucasian spaces.
And the reality is that you are constantly made hyper aware of the differences that you have in spaces where you feel as though you are not the majority. Even if you are truly the majority in that actual physical space, right? There is still a constant feeling as though you are a marginalized person. You are the minority in actuality. May not be in the world, but it feels that way in your communities itself, in where you are sitting in that moment. I just don't understand why there has to be someone else that gets this short end of the stick.
Because it's still this centering of whiteness. It's now make you me in that situation.
And sometimes it's that I don't even see you. It's not even I want to make you me. It's I don't see you. I see me now, and I'm going to take this. You have to reclaim your narrative as a whole and kind of like take stock of the fact that colonialism in general, as well as imperialism, which is an extension, literally stifled the voices of so many people. It still does. It still is currently doing that in a lot of different nations. Please open a book. Please open Google. Please watch something. And it's hard to get rid of that colonial-based gaze, especially in America. There's an issue with our nationalism being tied to that ideal because that's how we started as a nation. It is not how this actual land started.
Okay.
Putting that out there. But it is how the nation that has been set up to be what you know as America today is centered. The idolization of America and westernized cultures in South Korea is extremely rampant.
Yeah.
To a level that is somewhat uncomfortable. And again, that is centered upon whiteness because usually, if I'm being so frickin' for real, there was a study done on the idea that when someone asked like to describe an American, most people described a white person.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because when you describe things in America, most of the things they described were things from the indigenous community, the Mexican community, the black community,
other countries.
I feel that unfortunately, I know that unfortunately we have been told a lie.
Yeah.
These idols have been told a lie, fans have been told a lie.
You don't need to appear white to be respected. You don't need to appear westernized to deserve attention or for someone to listen to you. You don't need to appear westernized or educated in the West for people to think you are smart.
Yeah. K-pop is still seen as being so othered.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the racial connotations of xenophobia within all these different places surrounding it. So because of that, wouldn't there be an insistence on trying to understand that feeling with other cultures when you guys are feeling that yourselves?
Yeah.
I just want that to be very clear to people. I want fans to know that and be honest with themselves about that. And also, when a black person is speaking, shut the fuck up. Thank you.
I would also like to say that I feel like part of the dismantling racism within yourself thing is recognizing that your proximity to whiteness doesn't make you more acceptable or more approachable or more educated or whatever you think it does. With everything we're talking about, even when getting away from these artists, looking within ourselves about what things do we hold dear, and even what things do we find attractive, and why do we find them attractive, because who told us that, I think is all really valid.
How this industry is operating, I can see a lot of these companies tying themselves to proximity to whiteness a lot now. And in terms of like creating partnerships or whatever it may be.
For sure.
Which is very interesting because, again, you would think that if you're building all of this stuff off of the structures of blackness, you would do that or something else. But no.
If we haven't lost you yet, thanks. We're on a lighter note. We're gonna do our serves of the week.
Yes. These serves of the weeks are completely not connected to this episode. We obviously love so many different K-pop groups, idols themselves, K-dramas, many different art forms amongst the Asian diaspora and the world. We would not speak on it the way that we do if we did not care. So if you don't get it, you don't get it. But like, girl, open a book, do some research, listen to your black friends, get some black friends. And I want that for everybody because honestly, it's going to make the world a better place because God knows we need it real freaking bad. And speaking of that, we're going to speak on the things that make us go, ooh, maybe the world's pretty freaking dope, you know?
Yeah. But so my serve of the week. Yeah. So they recently performed at Coachella. That was great. For those of you who don't know, I'm a dog trainer. That's my real job. It's my day job. And I often go on really long walks with dogs working on behavioral issues. And I do tend to have a lot of playlists. And XG recently. I mean, I actually have had them in the playlist before. I'm not just a new Coachella stan. I had never seen them perform before Coachella, but I've had them in the playlist. And I just want to give a shout out to Howlin'. Zoe Howlin', babe, that y'all did your big one with that.
Yeah,
I love howling. As a little dog lady, when they do howl, I just be singing it. It's cute. I love it. And they're also what I guess would be considered global pop because they are a Japanese group. Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. And I mean, I don't know if we said this, but XG, the company, is getting backlash for selling do-rags.
Yeah.
So it's technically still relevant with the
still relevant. Still relevant. Ooh. Choices. But I ain't gonna lie, this song's it's crazy.
Yeah, they're great. Left, right. Your body.
I'm big of the. If you know, you know. I like.
Oh yeah.
I love them because they are all like Japanese ethnicity and yet like sing in English a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And do a lot of like collabs with like different types of like artists, whether it be Korean, Thai, whatever it may be. I think they're really good and they're good like singers. Like,
I feel like they really know their pocket, and I love that for them. I love that for them because groups that know that can always ascend.
And their Coachella performance was really cool, even with all the wind.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. It was great.
All right, Adia.
All right.
Your serve.
So my serve of the week this week is a boy group, actually.
Oh, wow.
That I knew about, and I had listened to a few things from them. But they're called Big Ocean. If you have not heard of them, they are a small boy group from a small company that is made up of hearing impaired members. They all either have cochlear implants or something else, or they just are hard of hearing. But they incorporate ASL, Korean Sign Language, into their music. So they want to be a global sign-based group. So instead of calling themselves a K-pop group, they call themselves a sign group. I think that is super, super dope and super cool. They have done a lot of like TikTok collabs with a lot of big idols. Their music is actually really, really sweet and wonderful, and I enjoy seeing more inclusivity, especially within like disabled-based communities, like being actually marketed and pushed within this industry. Now, of course, they are still like climbing up that ladder. They are somewhat very, very new, but I am very, very happy to see that. And I know that as someone who was like took a little bit of ASL in high school, a tiny bit, it really has given me a lot of influence and push to kind of get back into it a little bit, especially because I forget how beautiful signing is. So I find it really, really cool to incorporate it into art forms. As a theater girly, I love when it's incorporated into art forms. Shout out Def West. But I want to see where they go, and I'm very, very proud of the fact that they are having their current ascension, and I hope that y'all check them out to help them get a bit more boost, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thanks for sticking with us. If you hate us, you hate us.
Okay.
If you're following us already, you should have known this was coming.
It was coming. And guys, we're black. Or skin.
Okay.
Full ass nigga. But like, not a broke ass nigga no more.
No.
But we're black.
We're proud. So we're gonna talk about black stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about black stuff, and we're gonna talk about it through like all the things we talk about are going to be through that experience, that lens.
Yeah.
Obviously, shout out to my baby boos. I love you, even though you did some wrongs. But I do want everyone to be held accountable in general because I think it's for the best.
If anyone would like to publicly come on the show and apologize, if you would like to come apologize,
or if you just like would want
send
to
us an email
in general,
yeah,
honestly, I'll take that. I mean, it's late. It's late. Honestly, there literally is only one left to do that. Everyone else kind of did their own weird version of it.
Listen. It's never too late to do the right thing.
It isn't.
And on that, fuck off. Bye.